Oh, hi. Let's talk about you. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Movie Emporium's movie review of Oh Hi, the newest film from director Sophie Brooks. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Oh Hi is a new film. I think it premiered at like Sundance or something like that, but it stars Molly Gordon and Logan Lerman as a couple who go on a weekend retreat in the countryside. A nice house, a nice Airbnb. They seem to be having fun, and then one night after having sex, Logan Lerman reveals that he's not interested in having a relationship. He thinks they're having fun, and it causes a rift between the two. And because he's tied up during the sex, he is left like that while Molly Gordon is trying to not go crazy, and therefore it leads into a really dark comedy about what it's like when somebody feels betrayed. And she has two friends who are played by, of course, John Reynolds, and her best friend played by Geraldine Viswanathan. And it becomes almost like In Misery, but without the super ultra violence and the super crazy people. But it becomes a story about relationships and how different people view them in a lot of respects. So there you go. So this is a movie that was a mystery movie for the week of July 7th. It was predicted it was going to be this, but I've been kind of looking forward to this movie, even though it hasn't garnered like really that great of reviews. Once again, I think it premiered at Sundance or one of the film festivals. But it seemed like an interesting movie. I like Molly Gordon. I think she's a very interesting actress. Has done a lot of cool stuff like Booksmart and stuff like that. And then I really like Logan Lerman. He was in Perks of Being a Wallflower. Pretty decent actor. And Geraldine Viswanathan was, of course, and Baby Doll Drivers or Drive Baby Doll, whatever it was. And then, of course, Thunderbolts recently. But it seemed like it was going to be just an entertaining movie, maybe kind of funny, darkly comedy. I like dark comedies and stuff like that. So going into this movie, I didn't know much about it, to be fairly honest. I didn't realize it was going to be what it was. But, whatever. It's a movie. I like movies, so there you go. So with that said, from an honest review of this movie, what did I honestly feel? I was not a huge fan of this movie. It was actually quite disappointing. And the reason for that is I don't think any of the characters are likable. I think they get themselves into situations that is the most uttermost ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my entire life and would not play out the way it does. And I think the simple fact that Logan Lerman's character is so unlikable, that Molly Gordon becomes so unlikable and so crazy and so out there. I get why she did it, because she feels betrayed. It doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't. If you're going to deal with relationship drama, and they're going to deal with like what people think about relationships and how people think about, toxic relationships and all that kind of stuff, I think there's better movies out there, to be fairly honest. I just don't think this movie pays off very well. I think, the best character in this movie is played by John Reynolds, who's actually quite funny in this movie, but feels really out of place in the story that's very, very dark in what it's trying to do. I mean, spoiler alert, Logan Lerman's character, Isaac, gets, chained up and like locked and like kidnapped for like almost 2 days. And it seems like kind of suspect that that he would be allowing this. I don't know. It's just really weird. I think Molly Gordon does the best out of like the characters that are portraying who they are. I think Geraldine Viswanathan's character really comes in and does some really strange stuff. It's a very strange movie. It has a very strange payoff, and I just don't think it was a very good movie to begin with. I think when it was over, I think most people thought the way I did, where we were just kind of confused about what they were trying to relay, what the messaging was trying to relay, because it comes off as like this really interesting, fun, romantic comedy. Then it turns dark, and then it kind of pays off in a okay way, I guess. And it doesn't feel like anybody really learns a lesson, to be fairly honest. And I don't know. But for a movie that, is this small, I feel like that there's just something missing. And maybe it's the script, maybe it's Sophie Brooks writing and directing. Maybe it's the acting. I don't know, but I just didn't really enjoy this movie. Like I said, the characters, there's some of the things they do is fun and entertaining and kind of funny and very dark. But I think the way it pays off, and I think the overall kind of messaging is like lost in the weeds, to be fairly honest. And I think, it's supposed to make people feel bad about treating other people with disrespect and being very toxic in what you believe and how people are hurt in everyday life. But I don't know. I just didn't care for this movie too much. It's actually really disappointing for a movie that could be really good. And that's kind of where I lie on this movie, which is Oh Hi. I do like the joke of why it's called Oh Hi, but I think it's just overall just not a very good movie. So there you go. Anyways, with that said, thank you so much for watching my review. I do appreciate it. In the comments below, did you watch this as the mystery movie or have you watched this before? Let me know what you think of it overall. But otherwise, if you like what you see on the channel, hit the subscribe button to join Movie Emporium. Hit that notification bell at the top to find what's coming next. If you like this video, awesome. Hit that like button and we'll see you guys on the next video. Peace out, guys.